Definitely one of the most lovable characters in the league due to his happy-go-lucky, chipper personality, Marc-Andre Fleury has had no issue making friends throughout his NHL career. In this video, I'm going to talk about the love that Flower currently shares with these 7 players. And with that, here are the 7 players that Marc-Andre Fleury loves the most. Both hailing from the French-speaking province of Quebec, Fleury and Marchessault quickly became fast friends, as they not only share the same dialect but also the upbeat style of personality that makes them both fun to be around. From play fights in practice to Flower relentlessly pranking Marshy, these 2 Frenchmen have definitely warmed the hearts of Vegas fans all around. And while he may not seem like he's all fun and games during practice, Marchessault has no problem standing up for his goaltender and friend between the whistles. Longtime teammates and friends, Jordan Staal and Marc-Andre Fleury's bromance was nothing short of comical, as throughout the 6 years the two played together, they seemingly were always finding ways to playfully one-up each other. From Flower chirping Staal during the shootout featured on the Road to the Winter Classic segment,
"Oh my God, you're going up there, you're going up, watch it, yeah."
to Staalzy alleging that Fleury likes it backdoor, these two found ways to always keep it interesting. And even after Staal played his last game for the Penguins, the two still kept in touch and attended each other's weddings that both took place during the summer of 2012. Staal was later seen playfully clapping for his old teammate in Raleigh during a Penguins practice and visiting with the Flower, the goaltender's daughter, being born. Definitely a different dynamic as far as bromances are concerned. The two netminders first bonded through adversity, as both faced injuries during the Penguins' back-to-back cup runs. Murray, who stepped in for the veteran as a rookie in 2016, began to prove himself early on, which arguably set the stage for Fleury to become the backup in the next postseason venture. But as we all know, both goaltenders played a part in Pittsburgh's success that ultimately sent Flower out west. Regardless, Murray, who learned from arguably the best, put much of the blame on himself, saying, "To an extent, I feel like I was responsible for him leaving. I know that he would rather stay in Pittsburgh for his entire career, for sure. I definitely feel bad in that regard. I want to have a career like Fleury did, the guy who has been so successful for so long. At the end of the day, I'm not going to fill Marc-Andre Fleury's shoes. Nobody's going to fill Marc-Andre Fleury's shoes," he says. But before Marc-Andre was shipped out, he made sure to give his successor a memory he'd never forget. Following the Nashville Predators' defeat in June of 2017, the Flower decided to symbolically pass the torch, or cup, to his eventual replacement. And for Murray, the humble move meant the world. "The fact that he handed me the cup there says a lot about who he is. That meant so much to me, for him to do that. I don't know what made him do that, but I'm very thankful for having him around, and to call him a friend and mentor. He's a special human being," he says.
The fact that he passed me the cup there, my rank is way down at the bottom, and I got it ahead of some of the older guys, and that's because Flower handed it to me. And I had to say that's one of the most special moments in my life.
At first glance, it may seem rather odd to see a bromance between two guys that came from completely different worlds. With Fleury's first language being French and Malkin's Russian, the two do share the commonality of speaking English as their second language. And while playing over a decade of hockey on the same team, they both shared similar experiences while helping to carry a struggling Penguins team early in their careers and basking in the glory of back-to-back championships in the latter. Even though he's been a man of few words, Malkin made sure to let the Flower know his presence would be missed in Pittsburgh following his departure, as Malkin was seen on social media wearing Fleury's number with "My MVP" in place of the Flower's surname with the caption, "Sad Day." Even after the netminder made the conference switch, the two have found many ways to prank each other, with Fleury tapping Malkin's jersey sleeves shut, to Malkin most recently crashing Flower's post-game interview. These two 3-time Stanley Cup champs will definitely be bros for life. What happens when you have two notorious pranksters on the same team? Well, I think you get the picture. Anyways, Fleury and Talbot grew up relatively close to one another in Sorel, Quebec, and actually knew of each other long before they played together in Pittsburgh. As they played in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League for separate teams, but would play for the same one in Team Canada during the 2004 World Juniors. Later, the pair stuck together while spending time playing for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins before permanently moving to the NHL. And from there, the bromance between Talbot and Fleury blossomed. Yeah, pun intended. From rooming together, to filming commercials, to being in cahoots while getting the best of reporters and anyone else they could, there's no doubt that these two were inseparable. Fellow Frenchman and former teammate Letang shared a bromance with the Flower that warmed the hearts of Penguins fans all around. From their authentic handshake to mocking Christ together, these two, during Fleury's days in Pittsburgh, were inseparable. The duo's wives even struck up a business partnership known as Alex et Estelle, which was a children's clothing line co-owned by both Catherine the Flame and Veronique Laracy. Even though the former teammates are no longer sharing the same locker room, they've still found ways to catch up when possible. From scooter rides to Flower playfully messing with the defenseman pre-game, these two will forever be linked by the memories that they made in Pittsburgh. One of the most iconic figures to have ever worn a Penguins jersey is three-time Stanley Cup champion Marc-Andre Fleury, who actually met Crosby before the 2005 draft, as the two were actually teammates during the 2004 World Junior Championships, where Crosby was only 16 at the time, and shared the experience with his future NHL teammate. A couple years later, the two would meet again, as Crosby, who was also the first pick similarly to Fleury, was taken by the Pittsburgh Penguins. From there, the two endured the struggles and hardships of helping to turn the franchise around, before heading to back-to-back series against Detroit. After winning a cup together in 2009, both would bask in the glory a couple more times. During the playoffs in 2017, Fleury displayed his loyalty to his captain as he covered up the name of former teammate Matt Niskanen that had been seen on the back of his mask, showing that he disapproved of the questionable hit the defenseman laid on his captain. Not long after, as Fleury was drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights, Crosby appeared notably saddened, but stated that Flower would bring immediate success to the team. Even after he left Pittsburgh, the two have been seen together at All-Star games and hanging out prior to their team's matchups. Fleury even took it upon himself to prank both Crosby and Evgeni Malkin during Media Day of last year by sewing the two-headed monster's jerseys up. Even still, in the back of Crosby's mind, Fleury will forever be a Penguin.